episode of Sam's Playbook podcast. I am your host, your favorite sports junkie, Sam Downs. I am late and $1 short because, well, life. Okay, I'm going to spare you the details. But week 6 can kiss my ass. Literally. Half the side, you Falcons, kiss my ass. Okay? The rest of it, kiss my ass. All right? Every single parlay, besides the one I thankfully cashed out on, dead. Deader than Michael Jackson. I don't know what the fuck happened, but moving on. All right, let's put that behind us, and we're just gonna move on. All I have to say is thank God that the Bills have a bye week in week 7 because I need a mental health break. Because losing 2 straight games in a row was just not on my bingo card. The Eagles also lost 2 straight in a row, so it seems like every time the Eagles lose, we lose as well. So, that's pretty on brand, because I feel like PA and Philly, we're like cousins, you know what I mean? Buffalo, PA, it's very similar cities, like in terms of like Buffalo, Rochester, Western New York. Philly, very similar. Same climates. We all have the same screws loose. So it's very on brand. But holy fuck, we're just going to get right into it. The Giants versus the Eagles game was nothing short of a disaster. Both being in the same division. Like, sometimes those games, like, it's not very black and white. Like, oh, the Eagles are for sure to win because of the rivalry, right? They're playing with their little hearts out to beat the team to beat, right? And Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo, let me just say, this energy that they have again, like going for them, and they just feed off of each other. It is so magnetic and it's palpable. You can feel it. What Jackson and Cam have is like once in a generation within these franchises. It's very rare to find a duo like this, especially this early in the season and this new to the franchise. Like, it's not unheard of, but I mean, it usually takes a minute for them to get adjusted into a franchise, for them to, start having this type of magnetism to each other. But having said that, the second quarter is where we saw the Eagles decline completely, and they didn't score the rest of the game. It was 17, I think it was like 17-13 or something like that. And then crickets for the remainder of the game, because the Eagles really, when they line up in shotgun formation and they line up Saquon Barkley, it is so predictable. It is so easy to cover that. And they ran the fucking tush push 4 times. 4 times. In 4th and goal, you have to become more creative than the tush push. The tush push was kind of so last year at this point. Like, yes, it does give you that advantage sometimes, but that's like when you want to get those few extra yards, like not red zone completion type of plays. You need to be more dynamic, and I expect more from the Eagles offense and this type of franchise than just running a tush push 4 straight drives in a row. It's beyond insane. But the predictability of the Eagles offense is what led to the demise of the Giants versus the Eagles game, in my opinion. And I think it was in the 3rd quarter where Jackson Dart took an extremely hard hit to the head. And there's 2 parts to this. It took an extremely, I'm not even trying to laugh because it's really not funny, extremely hard hit to the head, right? And he gets, ushered away for concussion protocol in the blue tent, right? Cue Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson gets on the field and head coach panicking. Cam Scattaboo literally cleared him for concussion protocol. He literally went in the blue tent. He was like, yeah, bro, can you see me? Who am I? Cam? Yep, you're good. That's literally what happened. I didn't even need to be in that tent to know what happened. That is what happened. Cam quite literally cleared him from concussion protocol. Crazy. But then he comes out. The crowd goes wild, okay? Russell Wilson, for that single drive, created a turnover. Shocking revelation there. And also, Cam Scattaboo, there's a lot of discourse online for the way he's been playing and the way he played in college and in high school. He leads with his head, right? And he defends with his head. And this is a controversial topic. I don't know fucking why. But without a guardian cap on, you shouldn't be doing that. Just point blank, period. Like, you shouldn't be just completely just lead. That's your first line of defense is your head. That should be the first thing that you want to protect. You know, and I can understand you not wanting to injure your body, your upper body, your lower extremities, whatever. But I would take an torn ACL later down the line, CTE any day, okay? Because that's just scary. I feel like the Guardian caps should be mandatory. If one person's going to wear them or a few people are going to wear them, make them all wear them because of potential lawsuits down the road. And also, it's just for the players, like, to protect them. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But I see a potential danger in that. And a lot of people else pointed it out too as well. And it made me think, it made me go watch back and like, wow, he really does do that. So what I hope for Cam for a longevity of his career is to just be more strategic of how you're executing your plays and how you are landing and how, you know, you were defending, whatever the case is. Stop leading with your head, bro. Okay. Russell Wilson gets off the field from creating a turnover. The whole stadium is booing him. This is another thing. Do I take pride in one's downfall? No. Did I see it coming? Absolutely, yes. When I saw that the Giants signed Russell Wilson, a one-year contract, I'm like, what the fuck? They literally could have done anybody. Literally anybody in the entire world. Russell Wilson. However, I said the same for Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers is killing it. They're number 2 in the AFC right now. So sometimes a change of scenery it goes to show you that sometimes that's what you need. But not in the case of Russell Wilson. He should have retired a long time ago. These men, the more that they stay on that field and suck and continue to lose, and not just lose, like embarrassingly lose, the more your value goes down, like at your career after football. Commercial deals, broadcasting, podcasting, decline. He should have retired long time ago. The Giants went on to beat the Eagles 34-17 with a cinematic ending, and I can't be mad at it. I thought the Eagles had it in the bag, but I was wrong, and I will gladly take that L because just seeing this, NFC East team emerge from the dust, I can't help but to love an underdog. And it's growing on me. It is growing on me. Obviously, piggybacking into that would be the Steelers game. The Steelers absolutely looking great. Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, I'm so happy for them. I'm happy for their fans. It seems like they're really creating buzz within their organization, with their franchise, and within the fans. It's breathing life into Pittsburgh. And I love that for a city because Pittsburgh has been, it's been hard being a Steelers fan. I know a lot of Steelers fans, and it's just been a hard few years for them. So I'm low key happy for them, even though they're in the AFC. I'm happy for them. Whatever. Moving on. But dare I say, Percocet Rodgers is back. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it's Danica Patrick he's now married to. Sometimes it takes a strong woman uplifting you to really, make a man successful. I know some men aren't going to like that. It hurts their little baby man feelings, but it's the truth. And I don't know who's going to be in the AFC. I don't know who is going to be in the end. I don't know. But after watching the Bills, like if we continue on this path, it is looking bleak for Buffalo, okay? And we have some strong competitors in the AFC this year that I completely wrote off last year. If you would have told me the Colts and the Steelers, what are you talking about? I wouldn't have believed you. Look where we are. The Steelers crushed the Browns 23-9, but Dylan Gabriel is so fresh on the scene. I would really like to see the Browns put in Shedeur Sanders. You could tell he's getting antsy on that bench. And if they don't give him an opportunity, we're going to see a trade early fall, like in the next month here. I 100% can see it, okay? He is not going to remain on the Browns for long if they don't give him airtime, okay? And I know that's you shouldn't expect that and you shouldn't be, but just give dude a try, okay? Because you've been playing Dylan Gabriel for 3 straight weeks. And it's just been, it's been fail after fail after fail. So just give the guy a chance, okay? You guys have literally nothing to lose at this point. This episode is brought to you by Superbox. Question:
How many subscriptions are you actually paying for right now? Netflix, Hulu, cable, sports package, that random trial you always forget to cancel. Yeah, it all adds up. Now imagine if you could 86 all of that, watch every single game, yes, every single game, even the ones outside of your network, plus every channel and every streaming service all in one place for a fraction of what you're paying for now. That's exactly what Superbox does. No blackout restrictions, no overpriced bundles, and my favorite part, you can cancel all those other subscriptions you've been wasting money on. Just plug it in, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and butter my ass and call me a biscuit. You got every game and channel. And now you can stay up to date in real time with your bets in fantasy leagues, or text your buddies and make fun of them for losing on their fantasy leagues. All you do is pay for the box and that's it. No subscription fees ever. Superbox. More games, more channels, more freedom. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal. Click the link in the description of the show and use code GET20SUPER for 20% off your Superbox today. Stop paying more for less. With Superbox, you'll never miss a game again. Click the link in the description to get yours today.
Well, the Raiders finally got a win against the Titans. So it was 2010 Raiders. And I predicted right on that game. Thank God. But again, Geno Smith is nothing to write home about. I mean, that's not their man. I don't see Geno Smith working out. For the love of fucking God, put in Kenny Pickett, okay? I don't care how big his hands are. I don't care he has tiny baby hands. I don't give a shit. The size of the man's hands doesn't equate to the man. Just put in Kenny Pickett, all right? Fuck. And Joe Flacco's first day on the Bengals was okay. I mean, it was an okay performance. It was better than I can't sit here and talk shit. It was better than Josh Allen's performance. Threw for 2 touchdowns. Attempts were awful, but no interceptions. 2 touchdowns. I mean, not that bad. Inconsistent in attempts. 29 out of 45. I mean, not bad, I guess. But they still lost. It was his first day on the job. What can you say? But the Packers just had it in the bag. 27-18. Jordan Love is growing on me. And for you, those of you who don't know Jordan Love's story, I just learned about this and it was so beautiful. It touched me. His dad always bragged to people around him and his family. He was like, he even said it on video, my son is going to be an NFL quarterback. And he was like 4. Shortly after that video, he later unalived himself. And it just goes to show you sometimes the weight that men carry on their shoulders and their family. And he left Jordan Love to be the man of the house, and that he became. And he fulfilled his father's prophecy, and he is now an NFL quarterback. And it's just, who doesn't love an amazing story like that? And he really is growing on me. I can't lie. I did talk a lot of shit about him last year, but again, sometimes it takes time to grow in the organization and to, grow with your team. And I think Jordan Love is doing that, and he's creating a lot of buzz in Green Bay. I'm happy for them. But absolute highway robbery of the week. You already know what's coming. The Chiefs versus the Lions game. Absolute tragedy. Chris Hollingsworth couldn't be so far up of Patrick Mahomes' ass that you literally could see his fist coming through his helmet, okay? The worst I have ever seen in my life. 0. I mean, goose egg penalties against the Chiefs. And I watched that game back just to watch it back. There was at least blatant calls for them that I saw that should have been called. And that was just like being generous that they should have called that they didn't call. And I hate to be like a sore loser because I did pick the Lions, but I did run, to be honest, I did run separate ones, player props, and with the Chiefs, still all of those. It was a fucking soap opera. Okay, let's get into it. The first drive of the game was the trick play gone wrong. Okay, and I'm just gonna run into my notes so I don't miss. And so this is why I'm looking down. I just don't want to miss a single word I typed because I thoroughly watched it back and literally typed every single thing that I saw. And I don't want to get this wrong. I don't want to misspeak here. So the Lions snapped the ball to Montgomery at 4th and goal. he tossed it back to Goff while he was running the ball into the end zone. St. Brown was blocking a Chiefs defender, and Goff got caught in between and kind of sandwiched in between them. He still had possession of the ball, but the ball kind of like went in between them, but he regained control of that while in the end zone. Okay? And Goff gets off the field. The kicking team, the extra point, the kicking team comes back out for the extra point. The refs are huddled. And when the refs are huddled, shit's brewing. Shit's going down. Okay? Goff had his helmet off and his hat on. He's just sitting there chilling on his tablet like a fucking toddler. Like, shit's Gucci. They remove the touchdown, call it incomplete. And I still don't understand. So Goff gets back on the field and he's arguing with the refs. So then obviously delay of game penalty was called that knocked him back 5 yards. So they were on fourth down. They had no choice but to kick a field goal. They kicked the field goal, got the 3 points. Blase, blase, blah. Later in the game is where things heat up between Branch and Mahomes. So Mahomes ran in a touchdown, right? The way that he flicked the ball at him and he spun the ball in his face and then like pointed at him, first of all, that's a taunting call. That's what we call taunting. That is textbook taunting. It's not a group celebration. It's not a celebration. It was taunting. Of course. Didn't get called out. Didn't, crickets. Nothing. Kelsey's catch that hit the fucking ground. And then he regained possession of it. Since when is that a complete pass? Because just in the Bills game, the first drive, Elijah Moore caught the ball, clearly didn't even touch the ground, and then he went down with the ball, had possession of it, the ball hit the ground with him, but that was incomplete. What the fuck is happening? This is like rules for thee, but not for me. If you want to call penalties and the bullshit penalties, I get it. Whatever. I will live with it. But it has to be consistent throughout the NFL. Like, it really needs to be like Bible. By the rule book, 100%. And they don't do that. It's different across whoever's playing who. It's different. And it's clear as day. And I feel like the more that we get into like Vegas and the betting thing and everything like that, and franchise owners, and conspiracy theorists, like maybe it is just entertainment. That's my only beef with the NFL currently, okay? Aside from their women's line that needs to be overhauled completely because it's fucking ferocious and horrendous. And, Goff later said it in his press conference that he really needs to research the rule and to figure out what happened there and why that was ruled an incomplete pass. Amidst of all of like the confusion and the drama and whatever, the Lions were really highly criticized for their third and fourth downs because they failed to convert on those third and fourth downs. So I think overthinking their play calling was a big, after all that shit happened in the beginning of the first half, I think it really threw them off. And I think they were scared after that trick play. They were scared to run more trick plays. And I feel like that's like their secret sauce is their trick plays. Chiefs won against the Lions 30-17, and that is not where the drama ends. No. This is where it just begins. Mahomes went to shake Brian Branch's hand. Okay, Brian Branch is a defender of the Lions, and he moved away. He didn't want to dab him up. He didn't want to shake his hand. Is it unsportsmanlike? Yes. But if you look into the reasons why, I wouldn't want to shake his hand either. Okay, and then Mahomes slapped his arm anyway, and that would have pissed me the fuck off. We're fighting. We are fighting. I don't care who you are, okay? Even my kids, I'll throw hands, all right? If I give that boundary and if you straight up no, you're getting it back. I don't care. He stated that he was upset because he felt he was blocked illegally by Juju Smith and the play wasn't called. So he was frustrated to begin with. And then again, with the touchdown, the celebration in his freaking face and the taunting call that wasn't called, I understand his frustration. I wouldn't want to shake the dude's hand either. I watched his play-by-play and wrote down notes just so I can get it all. Mahomes slaps his arm. Juju Smith sees this and gets mad because they're butt buddies. And Juju comes up to Branch, but Branch, and Juju says something to Branch, so there were some words exchanged. Branch straight up mushes his face, and not just mushes, like slap mushes his face. I mean, he still had his helmet on. And to the point like where it knocks him down. So then Juju Smith gets up and is like charges straight at Branch. All of a sudden you just see a sea of red. Mahomes was involved and somebody else from the Chiefs. I don't know what other player was involved, but he is holding back Branch. Branch still gets a hold of Juju Smith because Juju Smith is trying to lunge at him. And I'm going to actually frame the picture of Juju Smith like it's hilarious. Branch is probably going to get fined, I would say minimum $25,000 for that. But in my opinion, that was the best $25,000 ever spent because it was iconic. And I don't care. I don't care that it was unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't give a shit. But the NFL will give him a fine for that for sure. But next, before that, I'm just going to say, I'm just sick of the Chiefs being treated like the fucking Princess Diana of the NFL. I'm just over it. I feel like most of fans are. If you're not a Chiefs fan, we're tired. We're exhausted. We don't want to fucking see Taylor Swift. We don't want to see Travis Kelce. I hope this is his last year because I am so fucking sick of just seeing this, okay? And they shouldn't even really be on this pedestal that they're in because they're really not good. They're not good. If they didn't have the refs, and I hate to be like this because like it just seems like such a sore loser, but it's the fucking truth. It is the truth. When you have the refs in your pocket, not giving you zero penalties, do you know how fucking rare that is? I looked up the statistics. It's like 1 in 726 or something like that. 1 out of 726 games ever that there's zero penalties called on a single team. Wild. And I counted at least 4 that were like blatant penalties. Whatever, moving on. Obviously, we must talk about the tragedy that occurred in Atlanta. God, it was a disaster. And man, I'm not going to sit here and act like the offense it wasn't a freaking dumpster fire because it was. But the play calling was shit. James Cook was the only person that the Falcons couldn't stop. And let me just tell you, the Falcons, there's a reason why their defense is ranked number 1. Straight belt to ass us. Just that there's no kind words to say, but they just straight belt to ass. Again, James Cook was the only person that the Falcons couldn't stop. We didn't see a lick of James Cook in the fourth quarter at all. I mean, they were stopping him, but he was getting us through the downs and through the important yardage that we needed. Okay? But we completely stopped using him. The Falcons pass rush, elite. It was insane. So again, the ground game was something that they struggled on. And it just goes to show you how extremely valuable James Cook is to our team. Okay, week 7 of the NFL. I don't even fucking know anymore, dude. I'm throwing anything. I'm throwing spaghetti, linguine, ziti, fucking capavelli, or however you say that pasta, orzo, fucking rigatoni, riga your mommy, like at the wall to see whatever sticks at this point. All right? But honestly, I really, really, really dug deep into this one, and I really tried for week 7. So these are my best guesses. No, this is not financial advice. Cry to your mom, okay? I'm sorry if you listen to me, but don't listen to me. This is all for entertainment value purposes only. And if you take this to heart, go kiss your dog in the mouth. I don't know what to tell you. Both the Ravens and the Bills have a bye week this week, and I'm so happy for both of them, okay? Because even though the Ravens are in the AFC, I still have a love and admiration for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, okay? John Harbaugh, I love their organization, and I have a lot of respect for them. So I'm really glad that Lamar Jackson gets to rest for one more week, okay? Very happy for that. Also happy that Bills bye week can come at a better time. Hallelujah. All right, kicking off Thursday night football is the Steelers versus the Bengals. The Bengals will be hosting the Steelers. But again, Steelers are favored by 5, but something tells me this will be more of a close game than what, the spread is saying. Steelers are 4-1, leading second in the AFC currently, and their defense is ranked number 5, okay, in the league. With Joe Flacco so fresh on the scene, I just don't see him outplaying Aaron Rodgers. But then again, if you look at like how many touchdowns that Aaron Rodgers has, and if you look at stats, it was kind of similar how Joe Flacco played last week. However, Aaron Rodgers is more consistent in terms of attempts. And I feel like the Steelers defense will overcompensate for that. right? Having said that, I am going with the Steelers in week 7. I always tell people to run non-favorite games too, just because literally anything could happen. Sunday's games first is the Rams versus a Jaguars, another London game, and I can't stand them. Okay, the last London game, dog water. The Broncos almost got beat by the Jets. The goddamn Jets. Shut up if you know the reference. But, to be honest, the Jaguars have more experience in the overseas games than the Rams do. And the Rams are traveling a longer distance in terms of time zone. So that's something to consider. Rams are coming into week 7 from a win against the Ravens. And the Jaguars are coming into week 7 from a loss from the Seahawks. The Rams have a slight 2.5 favorite in my region. Puka is questionable to make an appearance. But Stafford still has some other reliable targets like main Devontae Adams killing it. But since their most reliable receiver is potentially out, the Rams need to run the ball more to keep pressure off of Stafford to reduce turnovers. However, the Jaguars has an arsenal of pass rush defenders, and that is going to be their secret weapon. And Stafford, that's why he needs to get rid of that ball as quick as fucking possible to limit sacks. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I'm going with the Rams in week 7. But I might just run both, to be honest. I don't know. Dolphins versus the Browns. This game couldn't come at the more perfect time for the Dolphins. They need to win, okay? They need to win. And Tua needs to stop blaming everybody and their mother in the traffic in Miami than his own accord, okay? Literally, at his press conference, his excuse was because some players were late in team meetings. What the fuck does that have to do with your performance on the field? I mean, I get it. Like, team meetings are important, yes, but you need to start being the accountability king. He needs an accountability partner, I feel like. And I hate, using those, little, teddy bear phrases. But seriously, he needs an accountability partner. Fuck. All right, but both teams, fucking dumpster fire. I don't know. Browns are favored. They're playing in Cleveland, but I think this is going to be an offset game. If the Dolphins don't beat the Browns, there is absolutely no hope for them. They should just 86 their entire season. Okay, so Dolphins week 7. Eagles versus the Vikings. Now, this game is going to be interesting because I don't think the Eagles will lose 3 straight games in a row. I don't see it happening. The Vikings are hosting the Eagles, and the Eagles are slightly favored by 1.5 points in my region. Both JJ and Carson Wentz are questionable to return in week 7, so I'll have to see in tomorrow's final injury report. But we can't just call it a vibes game just yet, okay? The Eagles actually have to work on their play calling and not being so obvious. Like I said, when they're lining up Saquon in their shotgun formation, you can see when they're going to give Saquon Barkley the ball. So he has been quite literally getting almost hardly any yards per game because of this. I feel bad for those that have Saquon Barkley in their fantasy, okay, because of how much he's been stopped this season. It's been insane. So they need to be more creative, okay? You can't just run Saquon, all right? You have AJ, you have so many other options, and just work on your plays. Go into that playbook and look deep, okay? I think the defense led by Jalen Carter will create lots of turnovers, so I have faith that the Eagles will get it in week 7. Now, the Patriots versus the Titans. The Titans will be hosting. Patriots are favored by 7 points. I've given up on the Titans. Patriots for the win, kicking and screaming because I hate the Patriots. Saints versus the Bears. This one's interesting, all right? This is going to be a hot take here. The Bears had an extremely close win against the Commanders Monday Night Football, all right? And if you look at their wins, they've won 3 in a row. And if you look at their wins, even their losses have been 1-point games, 2-point games. It's been very, very, very close. And if we're talking statistics here, 3 straight games in a row, you're bound to lose at some point, right? And I feel like the Saints is a good contender against the Bears. I feel like they're pretty much equal. Maybe the Bears' offense is a little more reliable, but the Saints are coming in from a week 7 from a loss against the Patriots, but they beat the Giants the week before. So yeah, I'm calling this an offset game. I'm going with the Saints over the Bears. And they're playing in Soldier Field. So Raiders versus the Chiefs. As much as I fucking loathe this game, I want the Raiders to win so bad. And every year the Raiders play against the Chiefs, we already know it's going to be the Raiders almost beat the Chiefs every single year. Max Crosby is burning a hole in them cleats, ready just to fucking gun it towards Mahomes, okay? And of course, they're going to treat him like Princess Diana. That game is going to be heavily called or heavily penalized. Penalized. That's weird. I don't like that word. And we already know that there's going to be some tomfoolery happen, okay? So I'm just going to lead in with it. Who cares? I'm going to make money. If they're going to fucking win and make money, I'm going to make money against them too. So fuck it. If you can't beat them, join them. Whatever. Absolutely not. I'm never becoming a Chiefs fan. I will literally rather die. But Clete Blakeman is officiating this game. And the last time that the Bills saw I think Clete Blakeman was during the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. And we all know how that went. BS officiating. And we already know how this is going to go down. So obviously we're going with the Chiefs just because. But I may run a Raiders just in case for the fact that the Raiders have come so close every single year to beating the Chiefs. It's like literally a penalty call. That's how much they almost beat them by. So I'm going to run both just because. Just out of pure hate. But if I had a gun to my head right now, I'd be like Chiefs. But for the love of God, put in Kenny Pickett. Fucking A. Put in Kenny Pickett. Give the man a chance, please. Colts versus Chargers. This one's going to be, I feel like, is going to be the game of the week for me. Just because we have two very close teams. The Colts are on top of the AFC currently, while the Chargers are tailing behind them at number 3. This will be a Chargers home game, and to be honest, this will be a testament to the remainder of the season for both teams, mainly the Chargers, okay? Justin Herbert has been struggling a lot and almost got beat by the fucking Dolphins last week. How embarrassing, 27-29. The Colts are not favored in this game, okay, which is crazy. Barely with 2-point advantage, so I'm going with the Colts in week 7, but like I said, this is a pivotal moment for both the Colts and the Chargers. And the Chargers are playing at home. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game, number 1, beat the Colts winning streak, and number 2, like gave that extra oomph that the Chargers need. Okay. Harbaugh is naturally going to be in shambles the entire game on the sidelines. Like looking like your grandpa on the sidelines, rightfully so. Slay. I love the Harbaughs. Okay, they're my favorite coaches. All right, but this one's hard. Okay, this one you go with your gut on that one, but I'm going with mine, and I'm going with the Colts. Giants versus the Broncos. Ooh, golly, Broncos will be hosting the Giants in Denver. Broncos are favored by 7 points, but I think that's a little ridiculous, if you ask me. I think that's a little crazy. The Broncos defense is elite, though. They're currently number 2 in the league. Broncos pass rush, top tier. And they're on pace to break the NFL's most sacking record in a single season. So their left tackle must protect Jackson Dart at all time. The Giants' offensive line is very unpredictable at times and hard to cover, but that will be their main advantage in this game. In the Eagles game, the Giants made some great turnovers that ultimately won them the game, but I'm leaning with the Giants on this one because they had some extra rest from playing a Thursday game, and the Broncos are coming back from a London game. So with the time change, the jet lag, and they almost got beat by the fucking Jets. I'm going off vibes. I'm going with the Giants. Okay. Packers versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals will be hosting the Cheeseheads in Arizona, and the Packers are favored by 6.5 points, okay? But if you look at the Cardinals like throughout this season, it's been, again, very close wins. 2 very close wins and 4 very close losses against their opponents. So I don't think the spread will be that far apart. The Cardinals almost beat the Colts last week, too. So That's something to be, but they lost against the Titans the week prior. So it's unpredictable. Kyle Murray is expected to sit this one out, and Jacoby Brissett will be taking his place. And to be honest, but it hasn't aired on betting platforms, so that's not like 100% concrete, but that's what's projected to happen. But with home field advantage, I'm almost wanting to go with the Cardinals, but if they lose, it's by a single point. I'm really, really hesitant on this one. But I'm taking the Packers this week. But I might do the Cardinals too. You know me. All right, Commanders versus the Cowboys. We have another NFC East show out. I love it. Love to see it. The Cowboys are playing at home, and surprisingly, the Cowboys aren't favored here. Even after the Commanders just lost against the Bears. Again, it was by 1 point, but still, they lost against the Bears in Monday primetime. So I'm going with the Cowboys on this one for sure. I do think both teams will give it their absolute best because it is a rivals game. It is a divisional game. But with Dallas having home field advantage, that's my driving force here. I'm going with the Cowboys confidently, week 7. Falcons versus the 40. As much as I hate this, the 49ers revenge tour begins because the 49ers key players are expected to return this week. George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and Ricky Parcell. However, some of them are still up in the air, but Kittle for sure is returning. But with the Falcons absolutely dog-walking the Bills, I don't even know if this matters, to be honest. The 49ers will be hosting the Falcons, and that tends to be where the Falcons struggle is on the road. But the 49ers favoring this game by 2 points, it makes sense. But the Falcons defense is elite. I don't know, dude. I'm just saying the Falcons take the W. Just saying. All right, last 2 games, we have the Monday night games, Tampa Bay versus the Detroit Lions. The Lions are playing at home at Ford Field, and Tampa Bay has been an absolute smoke show. Currently on fire, 5-1, leading the NFC. This is going to be one of those games where it is a revenge game for the Lions. After coming off of such a devastating loss against the Chiefs, this is going to be personal for the Lions. And they're playing at Ford Field. I think the offense has more reliable targets than Tampa Bay does. Even though Baker Mayfield, he's got the stats and everything, he's got the swag or whatever, and he might just be he's just that guy, he's that fucking guy. He's everything that Johnny Football should have been. Could have been, I should say, because both are great. But I'm going with the Lions in week 7. Let's go! Lastly, we have the Texans versus the Seahawks. Seahawks are playing at home in Seattle. I don't think that the Texans can point to Seattle on a map. Really. I don't think so. Seahawks. Okay. Now, I guess we're just going to have to wrap it up there. I actually do have to pick up my kids. But and if I were to do a hate comment segment, there's just too many. A lot of angry elves in my comments lately. And honestly, it says something, I'm like, that wasn't very nice. But I'm like, wait a minute. If you don't have 2 or 3, 5, 10, 20, 50 new haters in a day, you're not blown up. You're not doing it right. You're not having as many eyes as you should on your content. And you know what? It keeps me going. It keeps me alive. Honestly, this is probably very toxic of me, but I'm just going to say this, that the hate probably feeds me more than the positivity. I'm just toxic like that, but and I feel like if I didn't have positive comments in there, like sprinkled in, I probably would stop doing what I'm doing. But I'm very blessed to have like such. I'm almost like growing like a dare I say, like a cult community. Like, so welcome to the cult. If you've stayed this long, if you continue to watch me, you are part of the cult. Thank you for being here. Okay. I really appreciate and love and respect so many people that come to watch, even people that don't even necessarily watch football are watching my podcast. And that's amazing. I love that. And there's more to come. I feel it. I really do. I feel like I've been having some interesting follows lately. I know that especially on Instagram. I'm seeing a lot of shit pop off on Instagram. A lot of my reels are getting more. So I'm just going to be pushing myself more and more out there, putting myself more and more, doing my Jersey course sets, doing my football content, and we're going to get through this. We're going to fucking make it. I'm going to make you guys proud, okay? And you could be the one to say, I listened to Sam way back in the day, and I knew her before y'all did. So that's something you guys can flex about. It's like discovering a band. It's like discovering Nirvana before they were fucking Nirvana. You know what I mean? You know how cool that is? How cool is it that you got to see Nirvana back in Seattle for fucking a quarter? I hate you if that was you. But also Slay. Could you imagine how much a Nirvana concert would be today? Like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like a fucking Eras tour. Oh my God. And what a dumpster fire Taylor Swift has been. Anyways, all right, we're not going to talk about, not even giving her any more airtime. She doesn't even deserve it. But thank you so much for listening and tuning in to another episode of Sam's Playbook Podcast. I'm out. Come back to see if I'm correct. I don't even know anymore. Like, let's just call it what it is and what it isn't. Okay, we're just fucking winging it at this point. Okay, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Sam Downs out.